Ah, there we go. Good evening, race fans. All right, that was the first time that's ever happened. Welcome, fans. Got all flustered there for a second. We are here today at Pocono Raceway for 38 laps, round number 7 of the Doghouse Racing League Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series. My name is Mason Heimbaugh with Team Goon Squad, bringing you the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second. Now that you all can hear me, let's go ahead and get into the action here. So far, we've have some drivers making their way out onto the track currently, setting their qualifying times for today. Currently looking at Andrew Core, the number 12 machine in the advanced auto parts, making his way out of one section. Really the first long straightaway here at Pocono Raceway. Looking at last week, race, we were at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where we saw Jonathan Jennings come away with the win. Hunter Simpson and Matthew Nordberg, second and third place on the pole for that race, round number 6. So, with that, Jonathan Jennings able to move up from third place in the championships, in the Drivers' Championship, up to second place here, competing very closely with Justin McMahon. Justin McMahon currently with 260 points at this point in time in the season. Jonathan Jennings 255, just 5 points separating these two drivers. So, incredibly close battles that we have for the Drivers' Championship, the Team Championship as well. Pretty close for the second and third place spots, but Elite Southern Motorsports still has quite the lead here. As drivers have completed some of their best times here right now. Kevin Powell, the number 93 machine, able to come across the line with a 53.97. Matthew Powell, the number 37 car, meanwhile, coming in at 11th with a 54.61, so a second separating those two drivers. And Andrew Core that we were looking at just a moment ago, closing out really all of the drivers putting down 54-second times here. But again, once we get started with the entirety of the field, they'll start to get that draft kind of worked in here and slowly increase those times little by little. But that is probably what we'll expect to see throughout a lot of the race here tonight. But right now, it's Kevin Powell, Matthew Nordberg, Andrew Core, all in the top 3 for our qualifying runs here today. Adam Duff, Justin McMahon rounding out the top 5 here for tonight's race at Pocono. 38 laps that we are going to be completing here. And again, if you are new and tuning in for the first time to the Thursday Night Cup Series here with Doghouse Racing League, things are going to look a little bit differently here. It is an open setup series, meaning drivers are allowed to make any changes necessary or needed to their car to help them in their race. 60% fuel is allotted for these drivers, as well as 2 extra set of tires in the pits, and no fast repairs are allowed during the race. So, everyone is on a level and even playing field for this race here tonight. Only 38 laps that we are going to be completing here, but Pocono, one of those tracks that, you either love it or you hate it. I personally, I'm not sure if I've actually ever put a single lap here at Pocono myself in the sim rig. I know I've called a couple races here at Pocono, and usually it can go one of 2 ways. let's hope it doesn't go the worst of the two. But with Doghouse Racing, every single one of these drivers here is an incredibly talented driver behind the wheel. So I don't really expect to see a whole lot of, struggling is what I would like to say here that I have seen in the past. So this will be a first time for me, I believe so, a first time calling a race here at Pocono with Doghouse. It might have been once before, but if it was, it had to have been a while ago. But anyway, at this point in time, we do have our grid available and ready for us here today. Kevin Powell, the number 93 with Southern Elite Motorsports, taking that first place spot in your front row. Matthew Nordberg on the outside of row 1 in the 64 car. Andrew Corr on the inside of row 2 in the number 12 machine, with Adam Duff on the outside of row 2 in the 28 car. Justin McMahon taking the inside of row 3 with Christopher Simon on the outside. Jonathan Jennings in 7th place. Jason Miz in 8th place. Michael Schemia in 9th. Christopher Leftwich in 10th. Kevin Thompson in 11th. Randall Barnett in 12th place as we move ourselves down the grid here. Bill Gentry in 13th. Matthew Powell 14th. Hunter Simpson going to be in 15th. Eric Peck in 16th. Stephen Tucker in 17th. William McKellar in 18th. Daniel Wilkerson taking 19th here today. Jeremiah Stutzman in 20th. Adam Gardner in 21st. Tyler Mollett 22nd. Shane Weldon in 23rd. Mike Leftwich going to be in 24th. And last and certainly not least, Patrick Gentner taking the tail end of the field here in the number 97 machine, taking that 25th spot here. But that is going to be all of the drivers attending tonight's race, and 25 drivers. That is quite the field to have here for the start of today's event. So just waiting for the go-ahead for the pace car to begin its lap around Pocono with the drivers in tow, and we will get to green flag racing here momentarily. And it looks like we are actually going to let the drivers get rolling here in just a moment. Yep, there it goes. So pace car is off, So we are going to go ahead and get rolling with the field here. Heading up to the blimp camera just to see what it looks like, a kind of wider angle as the drivers make their exit out of pit lane, out onto the racetrack here today. After last week's race, it was Jonathan Jennings taking home the win. Hunter Simpson in second. Matthew Nordberg in third place here. This week, the starting lineup is quite different from what we saw for last week. And even the start of that race was a completely different lineup from how it ended. So, can't really rely on where these drivers are placing themselves in the beginning of the race, because again, drivers have to make their way down into pit road. They need to get an extra set of tires. They have to get fuel if they need it. If they're burning it off, or if they're being a little bit more conservative, they might be able to stay out a little bit longer, save that extra time. But if you're getting tires at that point, you might as well just top off on fuel, because it's going to take time to get all 4 of those tires off of your car and replace with new ones. So anyhow, as we make our way in and out of turn 3 here. The tri-oval of Pocono. Let's see what we've got in store here tonight for Doghouse Racing League in the Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series, as we go green flag here for the very first time. Kevin Powell out in front in the number 93 machine. Matthew Nordberg up on the outside. He's able to get ahead in the 64 car. Let's see how this is going to unfold here for these drivers as we continue on. Matthew Nordberg, not able to keep up on that outside line, but still up there, right on basically almost door to door here with Kevin Powell if he just brought it a little bit closer. So they're fighting it out side by side. We've got more drivers all lined up back here. 2 wide, looking almost, I think, 4 deep. Depending on where you're looking, and even further back, we've got more action happening. Here as we take a little bit of a wider view of what's happening out here on track as we come through. It looks like turn 3, indeed it is. Out onto the front straightaway, into turn 1. 3 wide back here, a little bit towards the midfield. The front of the field starting to bunch up here, starting to build up a little bit of draft, more momentum. Let's see if we start to see any of these packs start to split up here before too long. Here's, we've got a really nice pack of drivers forming up here through turn 1, out onto the first long straightaway that we have here at Pocono. It's Matthew Nordberg, Kevin Powell in your 1 and 2 spot. Adam Duff, Andrew Core in 3rd and 4th. Jonathan Jennings, Justin McMahon, 5th and 6th. A lot of these drivers going to be thinking about saving tires, saving fuel early on in this race. You don't want to go too hard, too early. And oftentimes, that's what you'll hear at the end of the race when we're talking to drivers is, yeah, you know, it's a matter of just keeping yourself out there for the long run. It's not about the short term. Being able to lead laps is always a great feeling, but coming across the checkered line for the win is an even better one. Look at Kevin Powell. I mean, he's just been exchanged. Oh, we got someone sideways here. Andrew Core, the number 12 Advanced Auto Parts machine, getting a little bit loose there, but able to recover it. Very, very good work here from Andrew. Falling back to 12th place here, unfortunately, as we come through. It looks like turn 2. Out onto the short straightaway into turn 3. But Andrew, yeah, that was a very, very tough thing to happen there, but an incredible save from the number 12 driver. That could have ended a lot worse. We're going to take a little bit look at the back of the field here. You can already start to see some drivers kind of trailing off towards the end here, but it's only lap 4 of 38. Long race is left here before we've called the end of it. Frankly, if you're paying attention to when other drivers are making their way down into pit lane, you might not even have to be up there battling with the lead to win a race. It's honestly amazing what a pit strategy can do. You just got to play your cards right, play them safe. But I say that, and it's not always as easy as it is said, so don't take my word for it. These guys are very skilled. They know what they're doing and have been doing it for a long time. That is why they are able to, man, got some action. A little bit of trouble happening up here towards the front of the field, but that's why these guys are able to do what they do as well as they do it. It's because of the experience they have, both in real life and in the sim world. A lot of these drivers, you know, maybe they go out onto their local racetrack and they rip around their local, their little hoopty that they have in their garage, or maybe it's not a hoopty, maybe it's something sweet, I don't know. Anyway, point being, a lot of these drivers have been doing this for quite some time now, and the skill that every single one of these guys have is just incredible. I love to see it. Single file right now for the most part as we work our way through turn 1 right now, down first long straightaway here. So no one has really kind of slipped away from each other too much here. I mean, you can kind of see some packs starting to form here, but everyone's staying relatively close to each other here at this point in time. I'm pretty surprised by that, to say the least. Just given how, well, I mean, actually not really. You know, you have these long straightaways. Everyone is able to get nice and heavy on the throttle both here on the front stretch as well as the back straight. The first one, if you will. So a lot of great momentum that these drivers are able to build here. It's really going to come down to, I think, how much are there some of these drivers maybe burning up their tires here as Andrew Corr. A little bit of a scrape to the wall there. I'm not sure if he just got way too hot on the entry there. Didn't slow down enough. And that's the one thing about these cars too that I found personally that's kind of it's a little weird to adjust to, because you know, if you're like me, if you're like myself and you like to drive different sorts of cars, you know, maybe you like driving some GT cars, maybe you like driving the Formula 1 car or V, maybe you like driving the Radical. I love driving the Radical, the SR8 and the SR10, both great cars. With these cars, it's really strange, kind of, if you haven't been doing it for a little. Whoa, what's going on here? Someone coming up way high from the track there. Not exactly certain what that was. Whoa, we could actually take a look there. Might have been a little bit further back. Ah, here we go. Alright, that might have been a little bit loud, but Jeremiah Stutzman, the 71 Pennzoil machine. I'm not sure what that was there. I mean, he was obviously clear, but I wonder if he was down in pits or something. I just didn't notice. No, he didn't come through pit mode. I'm not sure what that was. That was quite the move, though. Still taking a look here at just patiently waiting and seeing what some of these drivers may or may not do here. Have a good idea of what the fuel window might be for tonight. Okay, interesting. Anyway, so what I'm trying to crunch here is where these drivers are going to start thinking about coming down pit lane here. Getting fuel, getting tires, so on and so forth. There's only 38 laps here. The track itself is 2.5 miles. So with that in mind, I would say, I mean, really they might be able to take it to like 25, I would say. It might be a little bit less, a little bit more. I know that usually we only do one stop here for the Thursday Night Cup Series. We're going 3 wide here. Into turn 2, that was some great racing there, side-by-side action. Quickly dissolves here as we work our way down the short straightaway between turn 2 and 3. But the 71 machine, Jeremiah Stutzman, the hard charger of the night it seems, along with Hunter Simpson. Jeremiah Stutzman, though, in 10th place, up 10 positions from where he started. So he's moved from 20th all the way up here to 10th place. He's in the top 10 now, and he's still got more in the tank left, it looks like. So I'm excited to see what Jeremiah is going to do here as he's continuing to rip some laps and some impressive times here. Not sure exactly what he's going to be able to pull off right now, as it seems like Andrew Corr in front of him as well as Christopher Simon both had quite the pace on Jeremiah Stutzman right now. So we'll see how that kind of progresses here at this time, and it looks like, okay, never mind, that was earlier in the race that we had that happen. A couple drivers made their way down pit lane, but that was during lap 1, so not exactly what we're anticipating here at this moment, but I would almost assume that maybe lap 15, lap 20, probably lap 25. I know that's kind of a big margin, but I'm not too sure. Again, Pocono's not necessarily my strong suit here, so this is all kind of fresh and new to me, if you will. But we're looking right now, we got the 34 and the 35 machine. Christopher Simon, Bill Gentry, both in a little duo here as well. Jeremiah Stutzman, Andrew Core just ahead of them, kind of in their own little pack here as well. So we got a little three-piece, if you will. A six-pack. We got a six-pack. That's awesome. Okay, anyway. And no one is really... I mean, everyone is staying super clean right now, just staying... Let's actually take a moment here. I want to ride on board with someone. Let's pick a random driver here. You know what? Let's ride on board Jeremiah Stutzman. Why not? So this is a really good view of, well, really what it's like to be fast here. I mean, Jeremiah Stutzman, again, he's in currently 8th place at this point in time, and frankly, I don't know if there's anyone that's going to be able to stop this man right now. He is on a mission, just flying through this field, and he's tracking down drivers that are all in packs, and oh man, he's driving the wheels off this machine right now, the 71 Pennzoil machine here at Pocono. And that's another thing about Pocono too. You know, if you're a driver that maybe doesn't race at it too often, it's not going to end very well for you. Again, I can kind of speak from experience from that. If I've never been at a track, probably not going to go very well for me, but I'm going to do my best. But in this series, it's kind of interesting to see standout tracks like this that kind of throw a wrench in the gears for some drivers. It's not every one of them. So a lot of these guys know what they're doing. They're able to stay fast here. But you might hear it at the end of the race here tonight when we go through driver interviews that this is not the place that they want to race at. Or maybe it is. We'll find out. We'll have to ask at least one driver what their opinion is on Pocono. Here as the 25 lap marker has come across our screen here, it's a little deceiving as, again, Pocono, a 2.5 mile length track. It takes a little bit of time to get around it. About 54 seconds at this point in time, with all of the drivers having gone through a little bit of tire wear now at this point. We're pushing on lap 15 here in just a lap, but you know, I gotta really wonder here where some of these drivers might kind of, I mean, especially drivers like Jeremiah Stutzman. He's really tracking through the field right now. I mean, how is this all going to play out is really what I'm curious about, and who is going to be the first one to take the bait here. But I think honestly, if I'm someone like Jeremiah or even Hunter Simpson, who's also worked his way up quite the number of spots here tonight, the number 33 Skoll machine has worked up 11 positions into 4th place here tonight. So only just 2 spots less than Jeremiah that Hunter Simpson has done here tonight. So incredible work from both of these drivers, just moving and grooving through the field here at Pocono and just putting on a really, really good race here. Here's we got some side-by-side action with Daniel Wilkerson and Michael Schemia happening through, looks like turn 1 there as we come out of turn 1 onto the long straightaway to turn 2. That battle is going to be short-lived here between these two drivers, and Daniel Wilkerson slowly moving his way up here, trying to track down, it seems like, the top 10 at this point in time. He's got Tyler Mullen just ahead of him in the number 94 car. And he's got to get near and start to put some pressure on, but I'm not certain who is going to... Whoa, actually, speaking of which, we got pit stops. Steven Tucker, the number 62 Shoney's machine, coming down pit lane, is going to take this time to get a fresh set of tires as well as fill up on fuel. I also am going to wonder here just how much faster some of these drivers are going to be. Ooh, that's going to cost them. Missing the pit stall there just a little bit, having to back it back up there. Not what you want to see as a driver, but hopefully not going to affect Steven too much here. Get back out on the racetrack as quickly as possible. Continue his race. So right now, we've also got Justin McMahon, the 20 machine, now coming down into pit lane here. We've also, Steven Tucker just came out. So, slowly but surely, drivers making their way down into pit lane. Gonna begin their, should be one and only pit stop of the night. We're riding on board with Andrew Corr. In 9th place, Matthew Nordberg, Adam Duff, both coming down into pit road here as well. Jeremiah Stutzman now cracking his way into the top 5 in 4th place now. Kevin Powell, who's been leading this race, duking it out with Matthew Nordberg for quite some time. Kevin Powell now going to have some breathing time, as the time between himself and Hunter Simpson in 2nd place is just about, actually it's almost 4 seconds, sitting at 3 3 3/4 seconds at this point in time. So Andrew Corr, or not Andrew Corr, but Kevin Powell he's got a little bit of room to work with, but it's not exactly putting him in a safe spot, if you will. So we're looking at Tyler Mullen, number 94, Flow Sports Machine. Looks like he's possibly, he's going to make his way down into pit lane along with Black Rifle Coffee Company of 78, Daniel Wilkerson, all coming down pit lane here. The question is now for Kevin Powell, is he gonna get put in a bad situation here by staying out this long? Or is he going to be, he might actually be able to stay faster longer during his 2nd stint. Yeah, there he goes down into pit lane with 19 laps left to go. So I think for Kevin Powell, Hunter Simpson, Jason Miz, as they all work their way down into pit road along with Jonathan Jennings. Jeremiah Stutzman, though, surprisingly, he's going to stay out along with Andrew Corr in the number 12 car. Both of these drivers all staying out on the same set of tires. Kevin Thompson, who came in lap 1, Eric Peck came in lap 1, Patrick Gettner, William McKellar as well. So we've still got a handful of drivers that have yet to come down into the pits, get a fresh set of tires at all. So they're all going to be pushing it here pretty far as as how long they can stay out on this tire. But I don't know if it's really going to help them going into the latter half, the second stint, if you will, of this race here tonight. Yeah, I mean, they might be able to stay faster a little bit longer, but for how long really is the question, I think. Here is Andrew Corr, Kevin Thompson, Patrick Gettner. They all make their way down into pit lane. Matthew Nordberg, the Busch Light 64 car. Looks like once the rest of the drivers ahead of him, which is only Jeremiah Stutzman, Eric Peck, and William McKellar at this moment, once they make their way down into pit lane, it's going to be back to, looks like Matthew Nordberg, Kevin Powell, and Adam Duff, 1, 2, and 3. Jeremiah Stutzman down into pit road here. Pushing it as much as he possibly could all the way to lap 22. Eric Peck, William McKellar both doing the same here. So again, that's going to give Matthew Nordberg, Kevin Powell, and Adam Duff the top 3 positions at this point in the race. We're going to have to see Jeremiah Stutzman already making his way out of pit lane. He's side by side here with someone. Looks like Patrick Gentner, the 97 car. All that said and done here at this point in time, Justin McMahon, Adam Duff, both going to be duking it out side by side at this moment for that 3rd place spot for the top 3. 15 laps left to go here. For tonight's race, I would like to give a shout out and a thank you Shoney's for sponsoring this series and for being a part of the Doghouse Racing League Thursday Night Cup Series for, I believe I'm pretty sure I remember Shoney's coming on board, I think 2 seasons ago, if I recall correctly, not including this one. It was, yeah, I believe 2 seasons ago that I remember Daniel messaged me for the first time and said, hey, we have a league sponsor now, or a series sponsor, and I asked him what it was, and he showed me, and well, lo and behold, it was Shoney's. Stop by any one of their locations in West Virginia. They have 13 of them. They're open, I believe, 24/7. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Got a variety of meals that you can have. Something to definitely fill you up, satisfy that palate. Being that I live all the way in the Mitten State, I don't think I'll be over there anytime soon, but if any of you are, let us know. Add us at Instagram, Twitter, wherever we happen to be on social media, Facebook. Let us know that you stopped by and that you enjoyed your meal. Back to this, though. The number 1, Eric Peck, down here in the pits, bringing out the yellow flag here for the very first time here at Pocono. Oh boy. That damage model also coming into play here and looking mighty, mighty fine here as well. Oh boy, let's see what happened here. Oh, looks like a smack into turn. Looks like out of the wall. Out of turn 2 onto the short straight wall there. Let's take a look. Everything looking fine, and there it is. Yeah, okay, we got to back this up one more time because I can almost guarantee you that he probably let off the brake or got on the gas too soon. Let's ride from the cockpit here. Let's take a listen. Oh boy. That sounds interesting. All right. Well, Eric Peck, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but that was quite the hit to the wall there, and not exactly certain what caused that. I mean, I honestly forgot that turn 3 had that little wording on the wall there, what turn 4. Oh, that makes me chuckle every time. That's great. Because I remember the first time that I called a race here at Pocono, and I think it threw me off seeing that I thought it was turn 4, and so I called it that, I think, for the majority of the race until I read it afterwards, and I was like, oh, crap. That says what turn 4? Anyway, that's just a little funny story. Anyway, back to the racing here. So while we're under caution here, this is going to take a little bit of time given that this is a 2.5 mile track. We're going to go ahead and take a short commercial break, folks. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back for the Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series Pocono 100. We'll be back for more iRacing right here on Team Goon Squad. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Race fans, lights are off on the pace car after our first and what probably will be the only caution of the race here today. Here at Pocono, it's Matthew Nordberg, Kevin Powell in the front row, Hunter Simpson, Jonathan Jennings in your second row, and Adam Gardner and Jeremiah Stutzman in your third row. Stretch here at Pocono. The pace car is going to make that quick dive down into pit road, and there it goes across the checkered flag, checkered line. We go, and it's 10 laps left here at Pocono for the Pocono 100. The Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series here with Doghouse Racing League. Matthew Nordberg off to an excellent start here, moving himself up to nearly 3/4 of a second between himself and Kevin Powell. Meanwhile, the rest of the field getting mighty stacked up here, just depending on where you're looking throughout this field here. Great pack of drivers stacked up here as we're coming through turn 2. 3, 4 wide, it looks like in some spots. Shuffling and moving and banging around happening for a lot of these drivers here at this point in time. We're going to ride on board here with Daniel Wilkerson in the number 78 car. A little bit of a wide entry and exit through turn 3 there. makes it work nonetheless, and right now getting stacked up alongside the number 13 of Christopher Leftwich. That is quickly closed out here by Jason Miz in the number 7. Daniel Wilkerson getting real close there to the rear bumper of that number 7 machine. Doing great work there, keeping the racing nice and green here between these two drivers. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, let's take a look from the rear view camera of Matthew Nordberg's 64 machine here. Laps left to go, and you can see Kevin Powell, Jonathan Jennings, Hunter Simpson, Jeremiah Stutzman even, they're all still stacked up here for that top 5, really, if you will. And with only 8 laps left to go, I mean, it's really tough to say if there's going to be any sort of opportunity to make passes here. It really seems like you only have that chance to make it work in the turn. You also have to have that speed. You have to have that momentum built up in order to make it work here. I mean, you can get nice and close, but that isn't enough. And with how much speed that you build up here, you almost kind of have to slingshot around your opponents. And it looks like that's what Jeremiah Stutzman has done a lot of here tonight. Here, as we're going to go side by side up here towards the front of the field. Another driver making his way down into the pits, Andrew Corr. Here as the yellow flag flies here once again, Steven Tucker, Andrew Corr, seemingly both involved in this one. Oh, this is a tight back here. Oh, man. The two drivers connect. Oh, that was a nasty one. See, folks, you know, that wreck right there, I want to back this up because I just wanted to show you how brutal this would have been. If there was no bracing of the driver's neck and you're wearing that, 20, 15, whatever pound helmet, if it wasn't for those supports to your neck, that hit right there would have either seriously injured or worse, would have taken the life of a driver. And that's that's kind of the nice thing about sim racing, folks. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, you can get wheels, sim racing wheels that can hurt you, that can break your wrist if you're not careful. But that's if also you're you know what, I won't even go there. We won't even go into that topic of discussion. But the point is, you don't have to worry about slamming into a wall at 150 plus mile an hour. Speaking of crashing into things, there was actually, I remember it on a few weeks ago, I believe, there was a YouTuber by the name of Chillin' with Jet, and this guy, he put together a Tesla with aftermarket brakes and all of this. It was like, I can't remember what type of brake it was, but anyway, the point is, he had a very nasty wreck because the brakes failed on him, and he had virtually no safety equipment in that car. Now, granted, they were just there to test. He explained the whole thing, but that's sort of the risk you take with motorsports, and that's why you have the safety implementations that we have today, because no one wants to see a driver have their life taken because they're trying to, well, do what they do, enjoy the passion of motorsport. And unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't end the way that we want it to. Thankfully, thankfully, in this world, in this world of sim racing, we don't got to worry about that. Here for Doghouse Racing League, I gotta say, you know, this has been quite the season thus far. I mean, it started out, we were at Charlotte. We went to Worldwide Technology. The week after that, we were at Talladega, Nashville Super Speedway, 2 back-to-back Super Speedways. I mean, even though Nashville, pretty small in regards to the scale of Talladega, Daytona, things like that. Atlanta Motor Speedway, New Hampshire, and now Pocono. Next week will be a big one. Michigan International Speedway, MIS, my hometown track. It'll be a big one for me, at least, the Motor City 100. So I'm excited for that one. I hope you folks are as well. Get subscribed if you haven't already. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad several days a week. And make sure you tune in at the same time, same place. Motor City 100. But it's the second caution, 5 laps left to go. And I do believe, I would have to imagine that once the pace car makes its way across the checkered line here, we're going to go see the lights go off. We'll be back to green flag racing here shortly. Indeed, they do go off. So next time we come out of turn 3, pace car will make its dive down into pit lane. It'll be a 3-lap shootout all the way until the very end. And for Matthew Nordberg and Jonathan Jennings, and Hunter Simpson, actually, it could be a repeat, a close repeat of what happened last week at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. With Jonathan Jennings taking home the win here, the win last week, Hunter Simpson in second, Matthew Nordberg in third, Justin McMahon also there in that 4th place spot, but not up here this time around, sitting in that 11th place spot. And that's what I mean. Earlier on, I was talking about just how Pocono can kind of throw a wrench in the gear for some drivers. You know, it's not the strong suit of a lot of drivers, and frankly, it's avoided by a lot of drivers as well. So Pocono definitely not the favorite amongst some drivers, but it definitely does play in favor for some that, you know, are able to handle its kind of flat bank nature. All right, folks, here we go. So out of turn 3, pace car makes it dive down into pit road. Green flag is out, and away we go as we come through the Geico restart zone. Jonathan Jennings right hot on the heels of the 64. Matthew Nordberg 3-4 wide through the midfield as we shuffle our way through turn 1. Only 3 laps left to go. So let's see if there's going to be anyone that makes any mistakes here. So far, so good. Everyone's looking relatively calm at this moment. We head up to the blimp camera for just a moment to see what we can see here. It's going to be a long 3 laps. Right on board here for just a moment with Hunter Simpson in the 33 car. We enter 2 laps left to go. Hunter Simpson taking that draft. You just saw Justin McMahon, the 20 machine, on his left side. wobble there from Kevin Powell, the 93 machine, but only 2 laps left to go. Oh, that was a little bit of a tap there from Justin McMahon to the rear end of Hunter Simpson. The white flag is out. It's the final lap here at Pocono. It looks like Justin, he's trying to push Hunter Simpson. I mean, quite literally push him faster down the track. Quite the bundle of drivers that we have here. The battle for 7th place looking quite spicy at this point in time. Oh, we got some drivers smacking the wall as they come out of turn 2. But here we go for Matthew Nordberg. It might be a win for the 64 driver as he comes across the line here for the win. Pocono 100 of the Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series. Jonathan Jennings in 2nd place. Jeremiah Stutzman in 3rd. As you can see the rest of the field as they made their way across the line and through turn. I mean, just a scattered field here. With how close and bunched up the field got there, I'm really surprised. I don't know how this ended here, but ready for our post-race interviews here. All right, so we're going to run through the finishing order. Matthew Nordberg taking home the win here tonight in the 64 machine with Jonathan Jennings in 2nd. Jeremiah Stutzman in 3rd place here with Adam Gardner in 4th. Christopher Simon in 5th place. Hunter Simpson in 6th. Adam Duff in that 7th place spot with Justin McMahon in 8th. Kevin Powell in 9th. Jason Miz in 10th place here tonight, rounding out our top 10. All right, so it looks like the first driver that we're going to have up first, it's going to be Jonathan Jennings, the number 91 machine. Up here in the booth here tonight, Jonathan Jennings taking home 2nd place here tonight. And, you know, after coming home with a win last week at New Hampshire, taking a podium tonight at Pocono, I mean, was it what you wanted, or were you hoping for a win here tonight?
Yeah, it was a good finish. That's anytime you're in the top 3, it's a good day. Hate it for my brother. He had a bad restart there, and it cost him.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like a very, very tough time to have caution come out. Definitely at the last kind of real critical stage of the race, if you will. The last 3 laps, I mean, it felt like any mistake that you made was going to cost you significantly. But, I mean, for yourself, able to come home with 2nd place here tonight, how are you feeling about going into next week at MIS?
Michigan. Yeah, I feel pretty good about Michigan. Racing another league there and did fairly well. We'll see how. I like the racing at Michigan. I didn't care for it here, so much better racing.
Well, folks, I think our question was answered then on what the feeling of Pocono was like amongst drivers. Jonathan Jennings saying he doesn't quite like the racing here, and frankly, I think it can be good sometimes, but I think for the most part, I'm sure a lot of drivers would want to be elsewhere. But it was a good race here tonight, I feel, for practically the whole field. I mean, not a whole lot of scuffling happening, but a lot of good side-by-side action that we saw, just depending on where you were in the field, I suppose. But Jonathan, I won't take up too much more of your time. Before I let you go here, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone in the pit crew that you want to shout out and thank before you go tonight?
Oh yeah, you guys for broadcasting it so I can watch it, and Daniel for putting this on every week, and my teammates Kevin, Hunter, Matthew, Jeremiah, and Adam, the team working.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for joining me up here in the booth tonight, Jonathan, and congratulations on the podium, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Michigan.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Alrighty, folks. Jonathan Jennings out of the booth here tonight. Up next, Matthew Nordberg with the win here in the number 64 machine. Matthew, you had quite the battle happening there. Oh gosh, who was it? It was I forget the driver's number already, but anyway, point being, it wasn't an easy win for you here tonight, and it seemed like once you were able to get out in front, it was pretty much all the 64 machine from there on. And it seemed to kind of take that exchange happen during I believe it was the first caution, actually, or maybe just before that, during the pit stop that we saw, the green flag pit stop. But for yourself, I mean, coming into Pocono, it's definitely a little bit tougher track than what we're probably used to seeing. I mean, a little bit flatter in some spots. I mean, what was your thoughts in tonight's race, and you came home with a win, so did it turn out the way that you wanted to or expected?
Yeah, I definitely don't think I was expecting to come out on top tonight. I wouldn't consider Pocono one of my better tracks, just because I always a little bit better in turn 1 than I am in turn 2 and 3, or the other way around. But I mean, that's just Pocono, and I think it was some really good racing out there tonight. I think it was a bit difficult to pass. I think I made a mistake in that first stint in that green flag run that I think it let Powell by in the 93 car. That put me behind them until the pit stops, and then a couple laps before pit stop started, I looked up at my lap time and I'm like, holy crap, I'm 2 seconds a lap slower. I can definitely get the undercut here. Had a really good pit stop, got into the box really well, got into the pit lane quickly without speeding, and just held on in the lead from there.
Yeah, it was really, really great seeing just how confident you were out here tonight. I mean, it really seemed like there was not a whole lot of competition out there that could catch up to you and really give you some pressure there towards the end. I mean, we did have that restart there right at the end with 3 laps left to go, but I mean, even then, you were able to build up quite a good gap there, get a good launch off the start, and just continue, rinse and repeat pretty much, just keeping yourself out in front and doing a great job of that here tonight. Now, with your success here tonight, I know last week you took a podium. You took 3rd place last week at New Hampshire. Taking home a win tonight, what's kind of your momentum, your feelings going forward next week at Michigan International?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely carrying forward some good momentum. I think just getting used to the setups. I'm not 100% used to open setups on Cup cars, so just getting used to how it's a bit looser than the fixed setups. But yeah, next week I definitely don't think unless something happens, I don't think I can make it due to some pre-existing work event. But I know, take that time to recharge, get ready for the next race after Michigan, which I'm not sure what it is. I hope it's not Watkins Glen.
Well, let's find out here. I'll find out with you live on TV here. Let's see. It's going to be Richmond. So you lucked out. It's not going to be Watkins Glen.
I think that might be worse for me, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. I have an extra week to get ready since I'm not racing next week.
Well, that's good to hear. Matthew, at least you're ending your break here on a high note, taking home a win here tonight at Pocono. Matthew, before I let you go, though, and celebrate tonight's win, is there anyone watching the broadcast, anyone in the pit crew or at home that you want to shout out and thank before you go?
I just want to thank the guys I was racing with tonight. I think Jonathan Jennings at the end there and Kevin Powell throughout the whole race. definitely giving me a little bit of pressure from behind, making sure it wasn't an easy win, but definitely a lot of fun racing those guys tonight.
It definitely looked like a lot of fun there, and it seemed like, you know, had you guys had more time, it could have been a little bit of a change up there at the end. But either way, you did great tonight, Matthew, and hopefully the next time that that we get to see you out here, we get to talk to you again in the podium.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a great night, Matthew.
You too.
Alrighty, folks. That is going to conclude our coverage of the Shoney's Thursday Night Cup Series Pocono 100 here with Doghouse Racing League. My name is Mason Heimball with Team Goon Squad, bringing the action here tonight, 1080p, 60 frames a second. I want to thank you all for watching and tuning in. If you enjoyed what you saw, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. Catch all the action that we have here on Team Goon Squad 7 days a week. Make sure to tune in next week, same time, same place, for the Motor City 100 Michigan International Speedway for round number 8. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week, same time and same place.